1st. Halloween. They think I'm hiding in the shadows.
They think I'm gay.
But I am.
Gay.
Hiding in the shadows. I am the shadows.
Hiding in the closet. Welcome back to dimecomicbros. He makes this job undoable.
Why does he let you get away with it? But anytime I try... Welcome back to the...
Because you are his submissive, but he is my submissive.
He walked in the door and
but
said,
I am
thank
your
you, Father.
submissive. It just goes around in a
It's
circle.
like... We got... Paper, rock,
that's what
series,
I was just gonna say.
Scissors. What the f*** happened in my mouth? Were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
He's a rock.
I am a rock.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
It is a news week.
It's a nude news week.
Yes.
I have pants on. Sorry.
I love that you made that photo of all three of us. That scared the shit out of Abby.
Really?
She thought that was real for a second.
Yes!
Because for like a split second, she
so
thought it
bad.
was real. And then she looked at the skin. She's like, oh, it's not them.
And everybody's got their arms crossed and there's a
And
surfboard
everyone's-
floating over them.
And Spencer and I aren't like big boys. We're all like the same size.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you hide that? And Spencer's literally not, like, dude doesn't have his skin color at all.
No.
Oh,
no. Also, if you look at the guy all the way to the right, I think it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
You can see like a little bit of his white shorts on his hip. They were all wearing swim trunks, and that's why I put the surfboard over them.
Nice.
Oh.
3 new news stories.
Nice.
So we have beans for breakfast.
We are not British.
No, it's Rorschach. It's Rorschach Day.
Every day is Rorschach Day.
That's not true.
So Harley Quinn has been renewed for a 4th season, according to the show's official Twitter account.
Boo.
Did you say boo?
I'm kidding. I want to see your reaction.
Season 3 isn't quite as good as the previous 2 seasons so far, for me anyways, but it's also not over yet. We're only about halfway through.
I haven't even finished the first episode.
Really?
I really couldn't. I couldn't get into it.
The first one was kind of rough.
I don't know what happened. I in between seasons, I think I outgrew Harley, like this version of Harley. Like she annoys me so much that I can't watch her. And I think Poison Ivy pisses me off too much.
Weird.
Because of her leaving Kite Man.
Much sad. It's nice to hear that the show is at least safe from being canned like everything else that's going on right now.
Yeah, like the Cape Crusader.
Yeah, we don't know if that's gonna... who knows if it's gonna get... if it's going to be... if the next season's gonna be on HBO Max. If HBO Max even exists by then. But at least the show's getting renewed for something. Somewhere.
So, do we have, like, an actual
No.
reason why, like, everything on HBO Max is getting shit canned? Or, like, why HBO Max is possible to be getting shit canned?
So, the merger with Discovery is going through. They're in the process. Like, it got officiated, like it's a wedding. It's official. They're merging the companies together and sorting all of that stuff out. And because all of the leadership is new and people are in new positions and whatever, they had to fire a bunch of people, quote unquote, had to fire a bunch of people. And then all the people in charge seemingly just like white people reality TV. Like, so basically everything else is getting canned. It's a nightmare of stuff. And tax write-offs is a lot of it. So they can go like, the little Aquaman animated series that's on HBO Max, that got removed entirely, even though it's only available on HBO Max. So
That's not on HBO Max anymore?
No.
What the fuck?
That it's just the amount of there's no clarity on like anything. Some of it's for tax reasons, some of it's for maybe the services are getting merged. It's all a fucking nightmare.
It really sucks being a DC fan right now.
It's always sucked to be a DC fan, to be fair.
Yes.
But right now, it is so turbulent.
Okay, so it started sucking once we hit Suicide Squad.
Which one?
The first Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like 2016.
Not the Suicide Squad.
Oh,
This all started.
Super Slide Squad.
No, it started before that, to be fair.
Wrong.
He's gonna say Man of Steel.
Nope.
You're gonna say
I'm
the
gonna
Dark Knight
say
trilogy.
no. No, my God, no.
What are you gonna say? Spit it out. Fuck.
Yeah. It started with the theatrical cut of BVS. That's where the main interference started.
Okay,
And
fine.
that
I'll
kind
agree
of-
with you on that.
That started the cavalcade of all the Snyder stuff, which then led into all the other stuff. Because, like, there's been 15 new regimes since then, and nothing's been followed through on. I'm tired.
What a bunch of fucking cucks.
Yes. Money cucks.
They can fucking eat my taint.
An exclusive from Variety.com.
Variety.com.
Ben Kingsley is poised to reprise the role of Trevor Slattery in the upcoming Wonder Man series from Marvel Studios at Disney+. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. The show was first revealed to be in the works back in June. It will focus on the Marvel character Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man. In the comics, Williams is the son of a wealthy industrialist whose company falls on hard times due to competition from Tony Stark's Stark Industries.
Come on. Why is it always
That's the
Stark?
comic origin.
Yeah, but... So, like, because...
Let me finish.
Did every
Let me
single
finish.
fucking movie
Yes.
take inspiration from this point on?
Williams then accepts an offer from villain Baron Zemo that gives him ionic superpowers, including super strength and durability. After fighting the Avengers several times, Wonder Man ultimately joined their ranks, just like everybody else in Marvel Universe.
True.
I added that part. Kingsley returning as Slattery lends credence like cold water. Cold, never mind.
Clearance, cold water, revive,
Yeah.
whatever that is. I know the meme.
To reports that the show is intended to be a Hollywood satire, as it has been established that Slattery is a failed actor and Wonder Man has been an actor and a stuntman in the comics. Exactly how Kingsley would factor into the plot of the series and how many episodes he would appear in is being kept under wraps, but sources say he will play a major role. Reps for Kingsley declined to comment. Marvel Studios does not comment on projects in development.
Is Wonder Man a good guy?
He starts off bad guy, then good guy, but he's a dick.
That's what I thought.
He's
Because
a
like,
weird-
anytime I've seen him in the comics, like in a Vision sort of setting, he seems like a dick.
He's a very weird.
He seems like
character.
an Orion type of character.
Something like that. He's all over the place. He has a lot of relationships with like Vision and Wanda and stuff.
Yeah, he wants to fuck Wanda.
I mean, everyone does.
Yeah, mommy.
So, cool. The fact that this was announced as an exclusive is kind of weird. Like the press release for this I don't know. It feels like they're blowing like the proportions of this.
Feels like they're
Way
blowing
out.
under the desk.
I like Slattery. I like the role. I liked him in Shang-Chi. I think he was in the movie a bit too much, but like as part of the foundation for this show, if the show is going to actually be funny and actually be maybe real satire or remotely near it, that's probably a decent place to start.
Colin's making eyes at me. I think he's got a fart.
No, it's because you.
No, it's because you said the title wrong. You said Chung-Chi.
I said Shang-Chi.
He did say Shang-Chi.
I did not hear that.
Well, you heard wrong.
I said Chung-Chi.
No, I didn't. I literally no.
Play it back.
I liked him in Shang-Chi. It's nice to hear that the series is continuing to move forward, even though we don't know where on the slate it's fitting in.
Yeah. Slattery. Colin, read the next thing.
From comicbook.com, the virtual fan convention DC FanDome won't be taking place this year. Fuck! Originally launched in 2020, DC FanDome was a virtual convention that covered DC content consisting of comics, TV shows, and movies with stars and creators holding virtual panels to discuss their many projects.
You remember that time when you said it's a hard time to be a DC fan?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I have a snarky remark about this. Keep going.
DC FanDome has also served as the first place fans could see trailers for The Batman starring Robert Pattinson, The Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League game, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and more. Unfortunately, Warner Bros. Discovery has canceled this year's DC FanDome. According to Popverse, comicbook.com can also confirm the latest update to DC FanDome. Quote, with the return of in-person events, Warner Bros. Discovery is excited to be able to engage with our fans live at numerous Comic-Cons around the world and will not be scheduled in DC FanDome for 2022. End quote. A statement from Warner Brothers Discovery reads...
Warner Brothers.
It's because they've basically pushed and canceled everything. The
Yeah.
only DC thing that's coming out for the rest of this year, aside from like TV show stuff, is Black Adam. That's it. They have no money.
Oh yeah, they don't. No,
They have no money.
They only have 2 movies that they can release.
Yeah, it's Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah,
and
Don't
then-
Worry,
and which is mired in controversy right now, and then Black Adam, and that's
It's in
it.
controversy right now.
It's a whole bunch of stuff.
What's going on?
Stuff with the director and a previous cast member who was recast, and then a current cast member and another cast member. It's a whole bunch. It's
Nice.
I was already gonna watch the movie anyways, but I'm now just watching it like kind of crash and burn in the media. It's very exciting to watch.
Watching as in a dumpster fire.
Pretty much, like the movie's probably gonna be good, but like watching the lead not do the press tour because of all the stuff. It's so funny. And Black Adam. That's all that they have coming out this year because they're fucking broke.
It's like Alive Like a House Fire, only it's watching as a dumpster fire.
I'm gonna use that for something later.
Watching as dumpster fires.
The way that just Warner Bros has like crashed and burned over the past like month is insane.
I love it.
I'm not loving it. From CBR.com, The Flash has his work cut out for him next year as he goes up against an entire army within the span of a minute, all while his books begin publishing on a twice-monthly schedule. CBR can exclusively reveal 1 Minute War, the next story arc to embroil DC's Scarlet Speedster. Beginning in January's The Flash 790, which also kicks off the series' twice-monthly schedule, 1 Minute War sees the Flash face an armada of aliens who are also connected to the Speed Force. As speedsters collide, one of the most intense battles the Earth has ever known wages within a mere minute. Writer Jeremy Adams sat down with CBR for an exclusive interview to discuss the 1 Minute Army's story arc, emphasizing that the meta plot would lean into the idea of how regular time seems slow for superpowered beings capable of moving faster than light. For speedsters, time generally moves differently. As we've seen in countless movies, when a speedster moves, everything around them slows down, Adams says. Now you can add these conquerors, the Fraction, an alien empire that uses the Speed Force like we use solar or nuclear. They move as fast as our speedsters, so our guys' advantage is kind of nullified. And because they're moving so fast, the idea that this war happens in 1 minute of current continuity just kind of struck me as cool. I haven't been following this run at all, but I've been hearing good things because it's being led up by Wally right now because Barry Allen, the Flash, is busy doing like Justice League stuff or whatever. So Wally is like the main Flash in the book. I'm hearing positive stuff. This sounds cool.
Do you think they've gotten rid of Barry in the comics because of the whole Ezra Miller controversy?
No, this was well before that.
All right.
Because
that'd be funny.
It was.
Hey, bring Wally back so we don't have to deal with Barry.
No, Barry and Wally have been kind of a wreck for the past couple of years. But when Infinite Frontier launched, Barry was like, Wally, you are the Flash now. I'm gonna go live in the Watchtower. Bye-bye.
Becomes the meme where he throws the peace sign and disappears.
Pretty much. Yes. Jacob legit looks like white Jesus right now.
You do look like white Jesus.
I just took a selfie of all of us too, so.
Oh, I just took a selfie.
No, it'll go on Instagram as soon as I'm done reading this news piece from comicbook.com. A heroic team of forgotten vampires will step out of the shadows in a new Marvel event. Unforgiven is the title of an event taking place across 3 one-shots featuring Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Avengers. Written by Tim Seeley and drawn by Sid Koshin, the 3-part story kicking off in 2023 brings back The Forgiven, a team of unlikely superheroes that debuted in 2011's Fear Itself: Hulk vs. Dracula. Marvel continues to grow its supernatural corner of the universe, and Unforgiven follows similar efforts in the Darkhold event starring Scarlet Witch and Doctor Doom. The first story in the event is Spooderman Unforgiven #1 and will continue in X-Men Unforgiven #1 and Avengers, you guessed it, Unforgiven #1. Other supernatural-based stories and events taking place across the Marvel Universe in the coming months include a class.
I'm assuming it's supposed to be Clash.
Okay. a clash, probably, between Mark Spector and Werewolf by Night in Moon Knight Annual #1, the return of the Midnight Suns, the relaunch of Strange Academy, and a Crypt of Shadows one-shot featuring Moon Knight, Wolverine, Laura Kinney, Elsa Bloodstone, Man-Thing, Werewolf by Night, and Bloodline, Blade's daughter, who debuted in Free Comic Book Day, Avengers/X-Men #1. I have a quote. I love Marvel superheroes, no doubt, but I've got a special obsession with Marvel's horror heroes, Seeley said in a statement. Unforgiven gives that creepy, sexy, weird underbelly a chance to shine as a horrific conspiracy unites a crew of vampires with Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Captain America, and shows us the stark differences and surprising similarities of those who are gifted with the ability to fight evil and those who have to carry evil's curse. By the end of this epic event, we'll have toured a lot of dark corners of the Marvel Universe and reminded readers that monsters are at its shrunken black heart. So I have a couple thoughts. The first paragraph said that this features Spooderman, X-Men, and Avengers, but that's an interesting distinction to make because Spooderman has been in the Avengers.
I think it means literally those 3 titles. I'm excited for it because I like how many spooky things Marvel's doing lately, as well as all the other stuff mentioned in this article. But also, Tim Seeley makes me worried. I'm sorry. I haven't read anything I like from him.
It makes me nervous that Seeley says this is a creepy, sexy, and weird. That just seems like very odd adjectives to use side by side by side.
Pervy.
6-armed Spider-Man sex with vampires. Just saying.
Oh.
Maybe. You
Also,
never know.
how much of this do you think is a ploy to bring back the Midnight Suns? Because of the
It's always a ploy.
video
Everything is a ploy.
Yeah.
I am glad the
much-
Midnight Suns are coming back because they're cool.
Yes,
The game looks like shit,
right.
but the comics are cool. The concept is cool. I like Marvel Spooky. I like DC Spooky more because they do it more. But Marvel
And better.
Spooky, usually, yes. But Marvel Spooky's still fun.
Werewolf by Night needs a good story. Because he's stuck in the old ages, and that's not cool. We need Werewolf. Collin, my son, what have you done this week?
Hold up.
Oh,
She-Hulk.
you're right. We have the
That-
controversial TV show that I literally don't give a shit about.
The twerking lawyer. Green lawyer. The CGI looks way worse in this
It
episode.
was really rough.
This episode's really bad right off the bat.
This was definitely my least favorite out of the 3.
Well, yeah. The other 2, I was like, oh, okay. You know, the first one I was like, eh. And the second one was like, oh, I really like this. And the third one's like, what happened?
The thing that I don't know, not the lawyer drama, not like the courtroom stuff is interesting enough, but I mean like just the drama at the law firm is really what's kind of killing the vibe for me.
Yeah.
Because the plot that they're obviously going for at the end, because now we're at the end of the first act of the show, or at least this season, like the stuff that they're doing with the Wrecking Crew, and I'm assuming that's going to have to do with Daredevil and like maybe Kingpin or like whatever, that's obviously interesting. And I like the stuff that they're doing to some extent or another with Abomination, but like, I don't know, the pacing on this episode is just really off. Wong was nice though.
Wong was very nice.
Wong is always fun.
I thought he was a lot of fun. They're like, oh, you released a criminal, and I must go. I loved that.
I do appreciate that they're despite the fact that my preference is for everything to be uber serious and like just overly pretentious. I appreciate the fact that we're at this point in the MC where they're just going like, yeah, he's a magician and like he just did a law break it, he's gone. Whatever. Like I appreciate that they're not just harping on like just keep running with it. There's so much more to get to.
I think the courtroom drama is falling kind of a little flat because it feels very, very normie and loosey-goosey. Because, I mean, it's on TV, and we had 100 years of Law and Order, or like things like that, where there's a lot more detail, so it doesn't even feel like a half-hearted attempt. It's like a quarter-heart attempt at trying to be a legal
Yeah.
drama.
I believe it was either the writer or the showrunner did basically say that when, like, right before the show came out, they're like, yeah, we don't really know how to write good courtroom drama, so we just kind of minimized it and went with the other stuff, which
is fine.
I get, like, write to your strengths or whatever. It's just...
But also get a writer that can write the character.
Right.
I think it's funny,
writers.
at the opening of this episode, I forget her name, Jennifer Walters' friend from work.
Yeah, I don't
is
remember her name either.
online looking at all the toxic comments on social media about the Hulk being a woman now.
They just got right ahead of it.
It is so funny. It made me laugh both times that I watched this episode.
It made me laugh too, because I think
they were looking at you trolls and giving you the finger.
I actually really like that, because I've had like 2 friends, 3 friends, even some that are female that have talked about like She-Hulk or Thor or Natalie Portman Thor, and they're like, Thor is a female now. Hulk's a female now. I'm like, no, it's a different character, and they've been in the comics for
Ever.
a long time.
Yeah.
She-Hulk's been there for like ever, and then
You think She-Hulk was introduced in the 70s or the 80s?
exactly, she's been there forever.
I think it was the 80s.
She was also written by Stan fucking Lee, so, you know.
Was when She-Hulk gets called into the office with the boss
Yes.
to defend the prick
Yeah.
guy,
Bukowski.
and then Mr. Bukaki.
Yeah, Bukaki.
Yeah. I legit thought that's what they said the first 2 times they said Bukowski. It was like, excuse me? Had it written down as a joke, too.
I think they did that on purpose.
They
Because he's such a
called
cuck.
in another chick. Was that Titania from the first episode just
No.
in a suit?
No.
Because
They look pretty
very,
similar.
very similar.
It's not. I checked just to be on the safe side. She is coming back towards the end of the
I
show.
saw that. My last point. I'm assuming there's 9 episodes to this TV show.
Yeah.
We're on episode 3, and Daredevil's confirmed for 6 episodes. Do the math, boys.
Ah!
I remember when it was one of the last trailers came out and it showed off the Wrecking Crew stuff. I've been waiting for them for a while because they're like one of the most stupid like villain groups on the planet. They're a bunch of dweebs who like
People are going to be mad about this.
they're mad about everything. People are always
Yeah, I
mad
know,
about
but
everything.
especially about this. But it's so funny because like I looked at them, I'm like, they're so stupid looking, and I looked them up, I'm like, they're still so stupid
Oh no,
looking.
they're supposed to be funny, and I like the weapons. I like how those look, if nothing else. The rest of it, I like how like they look like toys, and
I think I hate that. I hate that they look like toys.
I think it's funny.
like the hard hat looks so bad.
I don't know. They're stupid dweeby characters. Who do we think the boss is?
I know exactly who the boss is. Your mom.
I knew it!
No, it's probably like Kingpin or something.
It's probably Kingpin.
Because why else would Daredevil get involved?
Most likely true. To counter Jacob last week, they didn't undercut Abomination at all.
Yet.
Undercut?
I was getting a little worried because I like the fact that even in a comedic show, they're still kind of going over like criminal justice being like fucked, and like people need to actually be given a chance for getting better and blah blah and all that fun stuff. And I was getting really afraid that they're about to undercut it by being like, he's actually a bad guy. He was lying the whole time, because that's what they do every single time. Like most of Phase 3 and a lot of 4 is like this villain. They're like pretty progressive. They got some really good ideas. Oh, they killed a child. Like, they keep doing that because they have to mainstreamify it enough as to not butthurt anybody, even though they still butthurt everyone anyways. But, like, it's really disappointing, and I was just really hoping they weren't going to do it. And so far, especially if they leave him alone now, he's just out and has his 7 soulmates.
His 7 soulmates.
The thing with that, I was expecting it to be... Like, the fact that they're all, like, older ladies made sense. That tracks. I was thinking that it was gonna be, I don't know, when he was talking about 7 soulmates, my brain jumped to like a polycule, and it looks more like a cult, which I just think is funny. It looks more like he has a bunch of old lady followers, and he's like
Into it.
I don't know, it's funny.
He's into it.
I mean, sure. The subplot about the Megan Thee Stallion thing was kind of funny. I don't
It's
care.
funny. Literally the point of the show is to do funny stuff because it's dumb and funny.
True.
I'm sick of seeing memes saying they're sick of seeing people bitching about the Megan Thee Stallion stuff.
It's very annoying.
I thought that was
for
funny.
fun.
My only problem with it was I wish the CGI was better.
Oh, of course.
That
was
twerking
bad.
scene was
So-
bad. Like that literally.
I'm sorry,
looks like
honey.
a
I
dude- it
can't.
looks like a
I can't
dude's
come.
ass.
I'm sorry, honey. I can't come home from work this weekend. I have to keep rendering frames of She-Hulk's ass.
Oh, she looks.
It's just
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
Like I don't like Megan Thee Stallion anyways, but like
Me neither.
it's gonna make the show super dated. But like who kind of cares? Most of She-Hulk comics are filled with pop culture stuff anyways.
I think my favorite joke from this episode was when She-Hulk was learning about that case, and she's trying to not laugh and failing, and she asks with a mostly straight face if he thought that Megan Thee Stallion drove a Passat.
That was great.
The Asgardian troll or whatever that walked out of the office as him.
That was
like,
funny. I like sexually harassing women in the workplace. That one got a real chuckle out of me.
Yes. That's Collin at work, by the way.
It's a good thing you guys don't work with any women.
True story.
I like to sexually harass women. I feel like that's
In the workplace, only in the workplace.
I feel like that's Spencer.
What?
No way.
I manage people.
Exactly. Perfect spot.
Moving on. Collin, what'd you do this week?
Fuck.
Did you? You did
No, he
that
didn't.
last week.
No, I didn't.
You said it last week.
What you be doing?
Crushing your fucking toes.
Oh,
My toes are like
oh.
cockroaches. You can't destroy them.
Collin talked so much about the CG of this episode, but he failed to mention that when She-Hulk got held up, I guess, in the alleyway by the guys that stole the Asgardian construction tools or whatever, you saw She-Hulk's feet.
Shut up.
Oh.
They
my
continuously show her
fucking
bursting out of the shoes, and I
Yes.
don't like it.
No.
Please stop.
Please.
I
stop.
appreciate. I
Imagine having to be the guy rendering that.
appreciate.
Hold on. I'm gonna be home late from work, honey. I'm rendering She-Hulk's feet.
I appreciate the fact that they're just making Jen wear like really big clothes so she can
That's it, I'm
transform back and
divorcing
forth.
you.
I'm sure it makes the show easier to make and whatever, but it's nice to not have the clothes ripping every 3 seconds because it's just a lot, you know?
Spandex.
Is your best friend.
All right, now it's Collin's turn.
Collin.
All right, so I recently read Batman 89, which takes place after Batman Returns and where Batman Forever and Batman and Robin do not exist. Where in this alternate timeline, Bruce Wayne's an older man. He's got some white around his
Temples.
temples, yeah, sure. Around his temples. And Gotham is up and coming and is kind of being split in two by the rich and the poor. Burnside, there are two sides to Gotham, and Harvey Dent is here to make that stop. Or is he here to make it worse?
Oh my gosh. I love it when he talks plot summary to me.
So, our main characters are Batman, we have Catwoman again, we have Barbara Gordon, who's very hot in this, very hot. Harvey Dent, Two-Face, where he actually looks like the Two-Face from the Batman the Animated Series cartoon, which I really like. And then we have Robin, who's Drake. Whoa, it's the third Robin as Robin. The plot's super simple. We have like people. We have copycat vigilantes and copycat villains. We have like the whole Joker gang going on, and we have guys dressing up as Batman, and they're like helping the city, but really they're kind of like just breaking into shit and then blaming it on like whatever neighborhood bad guys there are.
So anyways, I started blasting.
So then I start blasting. And
Does this
so-
book acknowledge the fact that Batman kills people in those two movies?
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Sweet.
He killed like So it opens up with Batman is stopping a bank heist, and it has to do with 2 armored trucks with like $31 million in it being picked up by this helicopter. And he stops the helicopter, but they fucking he crashes them into a building, and then those 2 trucks fall into the ground. And afterwards, listening to like the news, he's like, "Oh, I kind of fucked up." And he's like, "One of them died, and a bunch of them are hurt. I need to like calm down."
See that?
And then him and Alfred have a talk, and he's like, "Alfred, here's the thing. This has always been the thing. If I'm doing more harm than good, then I will stop." What were you gonna say?
See, that's one of the few things that I really like about Batman Forever and Batman and Robin was the idea that Batman is like they acknowledge that he killed people willingly in the first 2 movies, and he's trying to make sure Robin doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the few things that those movies had is like really cool ideas that I wish they got to develop further.
Mm.
So I was just curious if this book actually acknowledged any of that. Or
A
not.
little bit, yes. But I think they're trying to move past it a little bit, if I can remember right. I was kind of like paying attention to the main plot and whatever. But Drake he works at Royal Auto Body, which is an auto body shop, and he works on cars and stuff, and he dresses around as this vigilante in his royal jumpsuit and a hood and a yellow mask, and eventually he figures out that Bruce Wayne's Batman because they both saved Harvey Dent, grabbed him out of the burning building that happened, and so basically Tim Drake figures out that Bruce Wayne's Batman, and then he gets a whole new Robin costume, except for the hood. The hood and the yellow mask he keeps.
I really like that suit.
So
I like the
It's
suit.
unique.
I'm confused about the mask, though, because that would be really hard to breathe through
because
as you're fighting.
it's probably to do with because he's black. So I like that they did the yellow mask because in this whole comic there is a like it talks about how the police are corrupt and how they're fucking racist, and Harvey Bullock is kind of a dick too.
Harvey Bullock is a dick.
Hold on. Every version I've seen him, he's a dick, but he's not like a really bad dick. Like he seems like a really bad dick in this. Like
Have you seen the animated series?
he wasn't that bad.
He was a sleazeball.
Not
Sucking
really.
down cheeseburgers and getting paid off by the.
No, he
bad
wasn't.
guy.
Was he? He wasn't getting paid off by the
think
bad
so. I
guy.
don't
No,
think
he
so.
wasn't. No, he wasn't
Maybe like
paid off.
once. And then someone died and he went, "I will never do this again."
I'm
Bats.
trying to think of my thoughts. You guys
Harvey
make my brain
Dent.
not work.
Harvey Bullock. Dickhead. Big old cock and ball.
Oh yeah, so I do like that Robin. He's got that yellow mask, and I do think it's to hide like his actual skin color because the cops, even if they see a black guy doing something good, they're gonna like arrest him or like actually trying to help.
So anyways, I started blasting.
And so like they see a vigilante and a white vigilante, they're not gonna shoot, but they see a black vigilante, they're gonna shoot. Type of thing.
Wear hooded justice.
I'm getting more interested.
It is actually really cool. Catwoman's in it, and her costume's hot. Very hot.
Is it close to the movie one?
It's like the movie one mixed with BTAS.
That's what it looks like for almost everything. Like, Gordon is very much so more like B-Task Gordon than Batman 89 Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Batman 89 Gordon was, like, ancient as fuck. Sorry.
Yes, he was.
He was old and did nothing. He didn't... The fact that he was named Gordon meant nothing.
It's definitely hips that
Hips.
Collin is drooling over.
Yeah!
Hips.
That's majestic close. See, isn't this book amazing looking?
Continue.
Cover
Yeah!
price. What'd you?
Oh,
what
okay,
would
so
you
cover
suggest?
price was $25.
Whoa.
That's hardcover.
That's hardcover, and it's got a sleeve. I would say that's reasonable. Yeah, and I like this because you also have to think that the first 2 movies that this is based off of they're fun and they're not like amazing. They're not like thought provoking. Like I would say like Batman vs Superman and the Batman are, but they're still fun nonetheless, and this follows true to that universe, I feel like.
Is there any sequel bait?
It's not really sequel bait, it's just more like Robin's around. Actually, he still hasn't called himself Robin. Someone said that he it's Robin, and the kid's like, no, this guy said he was robbing the bank, and he's like, oh, terrible. I thought you meant like Robin Hood. And then someone else calls him Robin, and he has the R. He literally has the R on his suit. So
script discrepancy.
Do you plan on reading the Superman 78 follow-up that came out with this?
I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, they made them at the same time.
I didn't know that.
Oh. Collin forgot something that we talked about on the show. That's never happened before.
Wait. I got a question.
Wait.
Daniel Warren Johnson's Superman comic.
What about it?
Is that a part of the Superman Red, White, and Blue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I almost bought that yesterday, but I didn't know if it was in there. I was only going to buy it.
I'm waiting on that collection until it's in paperback, because all the other ones are in paperback, and DC's been putting out hardcovers first lately, and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I'll probably go buy the hardcover.
Well, since you asked, I read the Guardians of the Galaxy Omnibus, written by Jim Valentino.
Omnibusy!
Spencer, what the fuck?
Spencer just broke himself.
Omnibusy!
I need help. Oh, man. There are all kinds of artists in here. I'm not going to list them all. This includes the Guardians of the Galaxy run number 1 through 29 from 1990, the annual 1 and 2, and a weird crossover event, which gets me started on the story. It starts out with a weird crossover event with Fantastic Four, Thor, Silver Surfer, and then eventually Guardians of the Galaxy. They're tracking down something across time, and they're like, look at all of our friends, you should go read the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
It was pretty boring. The actual run starts out with the Guardians trying to track down Captain America's shield because, what's his face? Major Vance Astro wants it.
Major Vance Astro. Is that his real name?
Major Vance Astro.
Bob Vance. Vance Refrigeration.
So, let me find...
Calm
down. Shut up.
No.
So, the original Guardians of the Galaxy include Starhawk. He is a dude that's bonded with his wife. They share the same body, kind of like Firestorm in DC. Okay?
Yikes.
So, yeah. It's
kind of hot?
Kind of weird. Because they're also kind of divorced because they've got a tragic backstory and whatever.
Does that tragic backstory have anything to do with the fact that they are now in one body?
No.
That's not how they got there.
No. She hates him and blames him for their kids dying, but it might actually be her fault, but I never really found out.
Oofda.
Yes. And then they separate physical forms, and she's definitely smashing another one of the Guardian until he kind of goes evil and absorbs her back in because he's going to die without her. It gets weird. We have Charlie 27, who's big chunky boy. We have Nikki, the last child of Mercury. She is agile stealth lady, like a thief build, and she definitely flirts with any human walking by. It gets a bit slutty. Martinex is that dude, the crystal guy. He's the last survivor of Photon, maybe? He's silicon cell master of thermal energy, hot and cold blasts from his hands. Diamond dude. I meant to say Charlie, the chunky boy, is the last survivor of Jupiter. Yondu is the last son of Centauri 4. Are you catching a theme here?
They're all...
He's a mystic and ancient weapons master. And then you have Major Vance Astro. He's the last survivor of the 20th century. Yes.
So they're orphans.
Yeah, they're all orphans, and that gets retconned much later in the story.
Oh, that's nice.
Major Vance Astro has a silver and black suit that keeps him alive. He has to be contained in the suit because of whatever he's made of. He's a master of the mutant power and psychokinesis, which is really cool when he finally gets Captain America's shield, because he takes several issues to figure out how to throw it and be good with the shield, and then he figures out this cool move where he just throws the shield and psycho blasts it so that it, like,
Spins faster.
yes, it hits harder.
Wow.
Very cool. So yeah, like I said, it starts with a weird confusing crossover event, then gets into several straightforward story arcs, and that's where the series shines, when it's 4 to 6 issues of its own individual stories. Embarking on a quest, encountering strange new worlds and alien races, and most of them are enemies. Motivations and emotions for all characters feel super choppy. The Guardians are fighting each other on one page and then doing a super combo against an enemy 2 pages later. They're like, we'll just put this argument on hold and beat the shit out of this guy, because he attacked us first. The series puts a lot of work into friendships and relationships, but almost always, I would say, all but 1 or 2 times, undercuts it with one person being wishy-washy and, well, I don't want to commit. So in the end, nothing happens. Nothing really matters.
Nothing really matters.
Insert Linkin Park song here.
Issue number 23 stood out for me. Collin, you can flick through, or Spencer, or whatever, as you like, because the artist was Mark Teixeira. Don't touch! I hate you guys. I'm so careful reading comic books and, only holding the page here. Trying to keep my oils off the page.
Really?
I'm clean. Probably.
I'm clean.
Mark Teixeira is known for doing a lot of Ghost Rider in the 90s and a Moon Knight miniseries in the 90s and a whole bunch of Punisher. But he guest arted on this issue and it looked really good. I wish the rest of the book kind of looked like this.
Oof.
Because the rest of the art is pretty boring. It feels pretty old school. I honestly thought the series was written in the 60s or 70s. It kind of feels like that artwork, but it was made in the 90s.
Whoa.
I really love how Yondu's and Replicant's faith and religion affects their commitment to being a Guardian of the Galaxy. So,
You made it political.
no, religious. It's different.
Ah.
Replicant is a little girl that they find, and I don't remember if she needs help or whatever. They pick her up for the ride, and she's kind of bombing around with the Guardians. I don't think she becomes a Guardian quite yet. But then the Guardians get stuck on a planet and kidnapped by a church, and it just so happens that it's Replicant's own church, and she has to use her powers against the church, which is a huge heresy or something. And so, yeah, it's pretty tragic. It happens a couple of times that she has to go against her religious beliefs to help her friends, and it's sad and tragic. Yondu
Damn.
is extremely
Is he getting laid?
mystical. And because he is the last survivor, he is trying to carry on his traditions, but there's nobody else, his own race, to carry these traditions on with. So he's being very ceremonious about it? I don't know. Respectful about it.
You
And
mentioned while you were reading this.
No. I'm getting there. Hang on. He finds a woman
Woman?
that is also his own race.
Whoa,
He's like,
procreate!
We got it. Well, that too. But we also got to carry on these religious traditions of our forefathers or whatever. And she's like, no, you. I'm a heretic. I don't believe in any of that crap. And it kills him. He's so heartbroken because he's trying to keep his tradition. That's probably the best thing out of this book. That one was really well done. The problem is Yondu is very stereotypical Native American. And
I love it.
I think I think it's mostly good intentioned. It's not meant to be offensive. And that it just aged poorly. Because it's not like really, really yikesy. Like, oh, they were really
It's like someone
doing it
actually
bad.
enjoyed their culture. and
Yeah,
wanted
they
to
were
implement
trying
it
to
into
have a
comic
Native American character.
But you can still tell that it was written by a white dude in Idaho.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, so for the people that are like that do genuinely enjoy their culture, like, just don't know how to respect it properly, and they try to, like, implement it into a character because they think it's cool.
Yeah, it
like,
was
this is cool.
an inspiration.
Yeah, it's an inspiration. I don't think they should get any backlash or whatever, because it's like, they especially in that time period, they don't know better.
No, it's a point of constructive criticism of like, it's cool that you want to represent, insert like my hypothetically like my culture, but like this is some stuff you might want to like look into a little bit more because that was a bit goofy. I think most people can tell when it's well intentioned or not.
Yes.
And when it's like, I just don't know how to write characters and I'm going to use stereotypes as a crutch.
I think this was well intentioned. So I don't mind it.
Big head fitter.
The only other thing on that is that near the end, I want to say that issue.
Galactic.
No, maybe that issue. Right there. So 5 back from the end, Major Vance Astro pulls Yondu aside and begs for his forgiveness for being a racist piece of shit.
Nice.
And Yondu's like, no, I don't have to forgive you, we're good. And Major Vance is like, no, I was really terrible to you and we need to be friends and I was awful. And Yondu's like, okay, fine, whatever. And then the next issue is an annual where they go back in time and show, or retcon, the Guardians' origins and shows Major Vance being a racist piece of shit to Yondu. It completely undercut what they just did.
Hot.
They were so... Alright, this book was wicked thirsty. I cannot explain to you how thirsty these writers and artists were for all of their female characters.
What if we did sex, but in space?
It was disturbing.
I love it.
How often I was like, I am actually not the one that needs a bonk here. The writers do. I don't want to see this.
Bonk.
How much do you buy?
Cover price is $100. It is somewhere between 900 and 1,000 pages. I want to say it's like 940, 960, something like that.
Damn.
I got it for $50.
Dang.
Oh, this boy got $50. I don't know. Because it's so generic 90s. We're going to talk a little bit and nothing's going to happen. And then we're going to fight a little bit. And then
Nothing's gonna happen.
not much is going to happen. We might throw this character that helped us out, a Guardian star, and now he's a Guardian, but then he's too busy and has to go somewhere else and do something. Like, it's a whole lot of nothing. I'm kind of iffy on it. I doubt I'll read it again. I might flick through it. The last couple issues are a crossover with Infinity War, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, Infinity War. So if I get that book, I might come back to this because I skipped those issues because it's a crossover event and I haven't read Infinity War. So I might refer back to this if I get Infinity War, but it's fine. I'm really not huge on older comics. I didn't realize it was going to be older comics when I bought it. I was just like, ooh, Guardians of the Galaxy. Boink. And that's why you do research before you buy books, kids.
True.
No research, only book.
How much money would you recommend someone spend on this? If they can just set their own price, but not for free.
I honestly think $50 is a steal. It is a big chunky book. It lasted me several weeks of reading. If people can handle older comics, then absolutely go for it at $50. Like, no question. If you're a Guardians fan, again, that's a steal. I don't even regret it. It's just too bad because I wish there was more here.
Fair enough.
So, Spencer, what have you done?
Okay, so book. I did read a book.
Whoa.
Got to start off with the basics.
Book.
I read Batman Volume 6, Abyss. This is in the current post-Rebirth run. So this is issues 111 through 121, as well as 124. There's also a special, like, one-shot towards the back of the book, which is not relevant to the Batman run whatsoever.
Hold on. They legit made a pinup page of her. That's how thirsty they were.
Low? Oh my gosh, it went so low.
Just, boop. That's all.
Damn.
Just little,
Hot.
nice.
Hot. Bonk.
It is written by Joshua Williamson. This is his first of 2 collected editions after James Tynion IV left the title.
Oh, he left?
Yeah, so Tynion did up to... he started with Their Dark Designs. He went up to... So Their Dark Designs, Joker War, Ghost Stories, or whatever that book one was called, Cowardly Lot, and then Fear State. And then Williamson did Abyss, Shadow War, and then Zdarsky is on the current run. This had pencils primarily by Jorge Molina, and then the last issue, 124, was done by Mikhail Janin. So this is post Fear State. So the Gotham's been taken over by Scarecrow and the Magistrate and all that fun stuff. So the police state has mostly been resolved. Batman is unable to calm down, kind of. He doesn't feel right. The city is celebrating, but Batman feels wrong. So he goes on a thing to go...
On a bender.
A Batman bender.
Yes.
Yeah, he goes out and fights a bunch of crime and whatever. He finds out that there is a villain in this, I believe it's South American country, Central South America. This villain called Abyss, who's basically been like kind of haunting this town. It's a whole thing. So Batman goes on a road trip, basically. He goes to this country. He tries to figure out what's going on. As is current with this time period, Batman isn't like broke or anything, but like he's not ballin'. So he's running on a budget out of country. He runs into this villain, Abyss. They make him go blind. They use like a scythe type thing. The villain looks really freaking cool. This story also incorporates Batman Incorporated. It brings that back from the end of Grant Morrison's tenure back in like 2010. So it turns out Batman Incorporated has basically always been running. It just got disconnected from Batman himself. And when his money was taken away and he doesn't have enough money to fund it anymore, Lex Luthor started funding Batman Inc. So he's their boss now.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. So long story short, Lex kind of made this villain a thing because Lex wanted to make his own army of Batman or Batman adjacent people so he could basically rule places via fear. There's a lot of plot twists and stuff in a pretty short amount of time. Batman fights him. He teams up with Batman Inc. They get some resolution, and we never find out who Abyss actually was. It's not really the person isn't the important part. It's the fact that they were like abused and like set up for failure by Luthor. They want revenge, like all sorts of stuff. It's a little slapdash. The structure of the book in and of itself is what really bothered me. So the first 4 issues are all one story. Then all of the stuff in Batman Shadow War, which is like a big Deathstroke and Robin crossover event, happens. And then it returns back to this story for 1 issue, which is like a epilogue almost. It just is, it's a really weird structure, and you can definitely tell that Williamson was told, hey, you have a certain amount of issues to kill time for, to incorporate this into your other runs while we negotiate with Zdarsky and get him on board. The villain is really cool, and I like the premise of the plot. Lex Luthor has this really Jeez, burps today, man. Lex Luthor has this really cool armor. Instead of it being, his usual like kryptonite armor, he has like a Batman like yellow power suit. It's really cool. Now it's nice to see a different setting, just with different characters in it. This was absolutely filler. Like, this is not, I wouldn't say uninspired, but it's not. This isn't peak writing, even for Williamson, and especially for Williamson. I tend to like his writing quite a lot. I wish there was a better resolution to this run. Just the way that the story was structured is completely wonk. I'm sure there were probably like scheduling delays and stuff that went into this as well. It just doesn't read well. The book is very small for what it is. And then they just threw in like a one-shot Gotham Academy thing that has nothing to do with this plot whatsoever. And it's very clearly to like fill the space in the physical book. So the collected edition isn't tiny. Overall, it was fine. I really liked the art, and I really like Abyss's design. And it's nice to see more of poor Batman doing poor Batman stuff. I bought this for $25 at Jetpack. I would recommend it on a sale, like $15. Like, when this is in a trade, it'll probably be $20, and I would recommend getting that trade with like a coupon or a deal or like something like that, or like pre-owned. It's good. It's not bad. It's just harder to read without like using Wikipedia or knowing what else is going on.
Is it $25 hardcover?
Yeah.
So it'll be probably $20 paperback?
Probably $20 paperback. Pick it up for like 15, 16.
Right. That's
it's
not
fine.
bad.
It's just definitely filler. And because I really like Tynan and his run, even though that did have a lull in it, I just don't like it's a bit of not a nosedive. It's a strong dip, especially from a really good writer like Williamson. But he just has too many runs going on. He's been doing like 5 books at DC right now, so it makes sense that him having to rush in like 5 issues of Batman to kill time isn't going to be his best work. But It's not bad or insufferable. And it's nice to see Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne's dynamic. Because Bruce Wayne is Batman, and Lex Luthor knows that. Which I guess is just a thing that is a thing now.
Huh.
Which makes sense. I believe the way that Lex said he detected that was by the fact that Superman and Clark Kent really only have 2 friends, and that's Batman and Bruce Wayne, so that tracks. It was alright.
I like that.
It's cute.
Collin.
Fuck.
Oh, fucky.
So I watched The Place in Between the Pines, which is a movie that has like 4 main characters, but not at the same time. So we start off with following our first character, who is played by Ryan Gosling, and I can't remember his name. I watched it only because Ryan Gosling was in it. He's my favorite sad boy. And so we follow our main character, who is known as a biker stuntman, and he travels the world in this like circus act, the whole like metal ball with 3 bikers in it,
Ball.
and they jerk each other off.
Ball.
So, wow, the burps, yeah.
You had spicy water. You have a reason.
So he comes back to this town that he hasn't been to in a year, and he meets this girl again, the same girl that he met a year ago, and
Anna de Armas?
and he's
Eva
and
Mendes.
and he's like, "Oh, do you remember me?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course I remember you." And then they
Of course I
like
remember
eventually
you.
get together, and he realizes that they had a son, and she never told him. But she's not like asking for anything or whatever, and he wants to take care of him, but she's already got a man.
Ooh.
And so what he does is he quits the circus, and he's trying to work a job at this like rundown mechanics place. That he met this guy in the woods while he was using his dirt bike, and the other guy was using his 4-wheeler. And he's like, "Oh, do you know cars and engines or whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah."
I could talk car.
Yeah, I can talk car. Eventually, he meets really officially meets his son, and he gets to experience certain like first times with his son. Like his son, he realized he was told his son never had ice cream before, and he thought that was crazy. So he was there to give his son for a spoon of ice cream, and they took pictures by his bike, and but it's all nice and it's a nice visit, and he thinks that they're gonna get back together, but she's like, no, we can't get back together. I'm with someone. I love him, and
I don't
blah,
like
blah,
you
blah.
anymore.
No, she likes him because they fuck.
Remember in Toy Story when he drops Woody and says, I don't want to play with you anymore? That traumatized me as a kid.
Yeah, that was really
It still
fucky.
shakes me as a 20-something-year-old.
Yes.
An also 20-something-year-old, am also shooken.
So, moving on with the movie, I want to make this shorter. So, he realizes that in order to sustain his family's income, he has to become a bank robber. So he becomes a bank robber with his motorcycle because he goes so fast.
Whoa!
And so what he does is he gets the money in the bank, and his voice gets all hype. His voice gets all pipe-ish. He's like, "Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground!" It's so funny. And then he escapes with all the money all the time, and he goes into this big truck, and they hide away, and blah, blah, blah. And his buddy's like, we can't do too many of these, because if you're going to ride like lightning, you're going to crash like thunder.
Whoa.
Foreshadowing?
Yep, and eventually he does a bank heist by himself, because his buddy doesn't want involvement, because he just can't, Ryan Gosling's character just got out of jail for hitting the girl that he likes boyfriend's face with a wrench, because he was trying to Ryan Gosling's character was trying to make a little playpen for his boy, but he came over unannounced, and the guy wanted him out of the house, and he's like, you need to go, and he's getting angry, and Ryan Gosling's just telling him to shh because the baby's crying. He's like, you're making the baby cry. And he's trying to be like calm and everything, and the other guy's not, and so eventually
He's a bad dad.
He's not. Eventually, he just smacks him in the face.
Nice moves.
Yeah. And
Nice moves.
Nice cock! And so then he gets sent to jail. But on his last run, his bike's all fucked up because he had to get a new bike because his buddy cut up his bike so that he wouldn't do any bike robberies anymore. He was a good buddy because
until he chopped up the guy's bike.
No, that's good. But Ryan Gosling's character put a gun in his mouth and forced him to buy him a new bike. Because he chopped up the bike so he wouldn't do any more bank robberies, so his buddy wouldn't get caught or put in jail or something bad happened to him. He was trying to look out for Ryan Gosling.
I'd chop your bike, man.
I'd chop your bike any day.
Oh, thanks, man.
Of course. But he gets a new bike, and the bike stalls, and eventually the bike gets a flat, and he's getting caught, chased by these police, and eventually ends up in this house. And he takes hostages, and he realizes, what the fuck am I doing? And he lets them go, and this police officer kicks in the door, and he sees that Ryan has a gun, but the gun's not up. The cop shoots first. Doesn't even announce that he's there. Shoots, and Ryan dies. And that's just
Literally.
the beginning of the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Moment.
Yep. And so then we follow the cop.
Oh boy.
And
How long is this movie?
it's not that long.
Collin's notoriously bad at summarizing.
Yes, I am. So we follow the cop, and eventually the cop becomes even worse cop, even though he was actually trying to be a good cop, because then he stole money from Ryan Gosling's girlfriend. He stole money from her that was given to her by Ryan from stealing from the bank. 4 cops went into her house and stole the money, or they're going to deport her mom. And then he becomes district attorney, and then we see their kid's story. It goes from the cop's kid and Ryan's kid. And
They
fuck.
fuck.
And Ryan, they're both boys. And Ryan,
And they fuck.
no, they're not gay.
Oh.
They're both boys and they're not gay. Anyway, eventually, the 2 boys get in fights. Blah, blah, blah. They get high. One, Jason, Ryan Gosling's kid, gets basically put in jail, and then the other kid doesn't get in jail because his daddy is a district attorney and helps him get out, and blah, blah, blah. And eventually, Ryan's son almost kills the district attorney until he apologizes to him for killing his dad. And then Ryan's son leaves with not telling anyone. He goes out west. and he buys a bike.
Wow, like his dad.
Like his dad. The end.
Did you enjoy this?
Yes, no, maybe so.
I liked it. I really liked the first half because Ryan, but the rest was like, okay, it's not bad.
Would you buy it digitally, DVD,
I bought
Blu-ray,
it digitally.
4K?
I bought it digitally.
You bought it digitally.
It's the only way to watch it.
Interesting.
I also bought Drive. That's on Amazon
Drive
Prime.
fucking slaps.
So-
It does slap.
Would you suggest buying it digitally, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K?
I suggest renting it.
Oof.
No, it's not bad.
Collin doesn't buy a lot of stuff. His
you.
movie shelf is like this long.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel for how much you liked it.
Okay, so I'm picky, so it doesn't.
How
On
many
a
out
Collin
of 7?
scale, I would give it 4 out of 7.
There you go.
4 out of 7 what, sir?
4 little teens out of 7 little cucks.
Thank you. Moving on. I read Guardians of the Galaxy.
What the fuck? Again?
Omnibus,
Is that the Abomination?
written by Donny Cates and mostly arted by, what's his name?
Your
Shaw.
mom.
No, Jeff Shaw. But also Corey Smith. It is a weird split halfway through. It has the 2019 run, number 1 through 12, and the annual from 2019.
Is that Ghost Rider?
It is Cosmic Ghost Rider,
Cosmic
sir.
Ghost Rider, is there a difference?
Also
Besides
written
being
by
cosmic?
Donny Cates. It is the Punisher from the future. No,
Oh.
from the past that goes into the future and becomes a Ghost Rider.
I love your facial expressions about things. He's just like,
Yeah, it's so stupid and fun.
is that... did you get into Cosmic Ghost Rider just because I got you that
Yes.
Funko Pop? I
Well,
love that.
also because it's written by Donny Cates and it looked cool. But yeah,
I'm so glad I inspired you.
it was really good.
You're an inspiration to us all.
It's a really good book, too, by the way. You should read it.
I should.
So you remember how the last Omnibus ended with a weird crossover event with Infinity War?
This one crosses over with Infinity, doesn't it?
This one crosses over, or no, picks up where Infinity Wars left off.
Oh.
So apparently Gamora beheaded Thanos
Yes.
and did a bunch of things with the Infinity Stones and then went missing. So this story opens up with Eros calling everybody together for the funeral of Thanos and says, oh, by the way, he had this cool backup plan where if he got killed, he copied his consciousness into somebody and is going to awaken and then just come back like that. So we gotta kill whoever his consciousness is planted in, and it's probably Gamora. We should find her and kill her.
Nice.
Nice. Hot.
So he makes his own crew and is trying to find Gamora. Peter, Quill, and Groot are pretty much the only ones left of the Guardians, and they catch whiff that someone's trying to kill Gamora, so they go and pick her up. And there's also Thanos' crew, his freaking Black Imperial Guard or whatever they're called.
His penis crew.
Yes, and Hela is part of that crew as well. So they're trying to get his body to reattach the head, and then they'll put his consciousness back into his body.
That's morbid.
So there's 3 different crews that you're following. And then... Hold, please. Trying to find... Does that shot look like Frank Miller's?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I see? Yeah.
A little bit.
It's the gradient.
Yeah. All right. So, Quill and Groot pick up Beta Ray Bill and Cosmic Ghost Rider and Moondragon, and I never remember her wife's name, and they go to save Gamora, who has gone in search of Rocket Raccoon, because he just disappeared. He
He's not
left.
dead.
So that is explained. It happened before the story, but he took an escape pod because his modifications to his body that were so tragically done are being rejected by his body finally. He's breaking down.
He die.
He's sick. He dying. He looks really yucky. I'll find you a picture. So Gamora is trying to find him because he just up and disappeared. Cosmo, the Russian space dog, is working with the Universal Church of Truth, and they're capturing everybody. It's actually being the overall fodder or whatever of the Universal Church of Truth is actually Peter Quill's dad. It's 12 issues. And there's a lot of stuff happening. This book moved so quickly. It felt like it should have been another 6 issues at least. It was simmered down and on fast forward really fast. I kind of wish there were more pages to spread this story out over. I don't know why. I don't want to say it felt rushed because I followed it all. It holds together really well. It's just breakneck speed. There's Rocket.
What the fuck?
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the run, he's the only Guardian left that hasn't been sucked up by the Universal Church of Truth. And he's like dying on his way to go shoot stuff and free his friends. So I went crazy about issue number 10 and the cover art because it's Groot at his gravesite holding onto like a stone statue of Rocket and growing flowers, a bouquet of flowers out of his hand and like shedding a tear. And it's so sad. Spoilers. Rocket doesn't die.
Well, yeah, I would think so. He gets magic medicine.
This was like really close though because he's like dragging his feet and like barely moving by the end, but they save him.
I'm glad.
I love this book.
He love.
I do love. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads.
Wait, darn.
Cover price is $35. I got it at Jetpack. It is a little bit skinny for an omnibus. It's more like a hardcover trade paperback or whatever. But $35 is a good price. This is a great story. It goes very quick. Good read.
Very nice. Jacob did a sad.
It's also kind of funny how many other Donny Cates stories are referenced in this one.
He's a bit prolific.
Yeah.
Prolific?
Apparently his Hulk run is not very good right now, though.
Ouch. That's not good.
Yeah, apparently the Al Ewing and Donny Cates swapping titles is not going well so far.
Yikes.
Apparently there's also been like production problems as well.
It was working fine. Why swap titles? Don't fix what you broke. Also, this had Null in it, and that kills me because I haven't read King in Black yet.
How have you not gotten to that yet?
I'm waiting for the omnibus.
Pretty sure it's out.
It hasn't. It's getting delayed.
Okay. Jacob
Don't push me, man.
Jacob and Donny Cates omnibus. Just bad history.
And pre-orders in general. Freaking Becoming the Archetypes new CD came out last week, and I still haven't gotten it in the mail yet. So I hit them up. It was like, what the heck, man? And they said the vinyl doesn't ship until mid-October. That package also has Everything with Sound on orange vinyl. And I'm waiting for it to ship!
So, something that gave me a very similar reaction to what Jacob was going through was Superman vs. Lobo. It is a 3-issue Black Label miniseries from DC that came out last year.
I just went through about 3 emotions in a minute. So, which emotion are you referring to?
The anger, frustration.
Oh, okay.
The squealing. It is written by Tim Seeley with pencils by Sarah Beatty. Yeah. Basically, this is a goofy Saturday morning cartoon in the, like, it's wacky and, like, silly. Yeah, like...
Whoa.
Like your Teen Titans type, 2003 Teen Titans. Like, it's wacky and goofy, but, you know.
No theme song, singer boy?
What?
No Teen Titans!
Basically, Superman does Superman stuff. Lobo does Lobo.
Let's go.
Superman does Superman stuff. Lobo does Lobo stuff. They clash. They meet this interdimensional worm thing, which is also
Worm thing.
Worm!
it's also the survivor of. It's like the last of its race, like them. And this worm is. This book is about like the last survivors of species, or at least that's what it wants to be about.
Lobo finally sees Superman's worm.
They help out the
Hot.
worm with a thing he's going through, unironically constipation. They help him with constipation. It's very funny. He returns the favor by bringing back both of their worlds, but he switches them. Instead of Superman going to Krypton, he goes to Zarnia, and Lobo goes to Krypton. So it's a really absurd premise, and then most of issue 2 is just them just chilling on those planets and being like, wow, they really didn't know what they had. Like, because Lobo kills his entire species because he gets pissed off. And then, we all know what happened to Krypton. So it's just it's a weird book that's trying to show the contrast between the two characters and, like, the different paths you can take with the circumstances you're given and blah, 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 blah. It takes, like, nothing seriously, and there's a level of that I want to appreciate, that it's, like, it's a very absurd thing. That's something that Tim Seeley does a lot of. His stories, especially with DC, are, like, all really absurd scenarios, and they're very over the top. And it just, I've never liked it, and I still don't like it here.
I mean, there is a place for that, but you gotta eventually take something seriously, I guess, as a writer.
It's very weird. The art is...
I mean, you didn't really expect something serious with a title like Superman versus Lobo.
Yeah.
If it has Lobo in it, it's not going to be serious.
I just really don't like the way Seeley writes. The plots are very goofy. The two planets clash. There's a bunch of space jumbo. And then they go back to normal. This book includes hashtags. I don't like it. It's extremely dated, and it just doesn't work well. There's some attempt at satirizing silly political commentary, but none of it lands because this book doesn't, like, it doesn't seem like this writer understands what satire actually is. It just doesn't work. The dialogue is mostly atrocious. It's a very wasted concept. Lobo's fun to read. He's a goofy character. He does stupid things. He's pissed off about the fact that he's censored in a Black Label book, which is very funny. But also, why the hell is this a Black Label book? They say shit, like, twice, and there's a lot of blood, but it's incredibly goofy, and they don't let Lobo say fuck. So, like, why even bother? Is it just because they wanted it to take place outside of continuity? Probably. Not really a fan. I paid $25 for this. Brand new at Jetpack. It is one of the oversized Black Label hardcovers, which I appreciate. This is like a deep sale thing, like $10. And it might be fine. I read it in like 40 minutes. Some of the art's fun. It's incredibly horny.
So that's
not in a way that I like, though.
That's an extended shit, then.
That's like 2 poops. Or like...
2 poops in 40 minutes? Sir.
Not back to back.
I've seen you poop.
I'm disappointed. I wasn't walking in expecting much, but I was hoping for something, and my hopes were dashed, and my expectations were somehow still too high. It's not the worst thing I've read so far this year, by any means. It's, like... It's not garbage. It's just not good.
Collin, what else have you done? Just kidding!
Collin was about to go on a murder spree. I could see the switch go off in his head, where he goes, today is the day. It's today.
Today is the day that the Lord has made.
We will rejoice and be glad in it.
We will also rejoice our patrons for paying us money. We appreciate the love and care that Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin give us every month. It helps us keep the show going. If you are a listener and your name is not Jeff Lawrence or Caitlin, please consider going to patreon.com/dimecomicbros. There are a couple of tiers there that you can sign up for, each having different rewards, including artwork done by Collin Man himself.
Each tear being extracted from my face specifically.
I thought you were going to say butthole.
Stickers,
And also a completely separate show that we do almost every week called Happy Hour.
Happy Hour.
We crack a beer and talk about anything that comes to
I
mind.
shitted my pants.
It doesn't have to be
we
comic.
don't talk about you shitting your pants. Yes, we
It
do.
does not have to be comic related.
But it usually still is.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I have a joke, but it is going to take 5 seconds to say, and that's it. So I hope you have a prompt. We also need to say a warm and special thank you to Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They have comics and games and anything else that may appease your nerdy heart.
I specifically get to shout them out, and I'm very appreciative because Kyle, our boy, hooked me up, or at least he told me he hooked me up. He might have been lying to my face.
To a car battery?
Your nipples got shocked?
No.
Your balls?
His toes.
His toes.
His toes.
His toes. Is that why you got these little bumps there?
No, those are called calluses.
It's a callus?
Yeah.
Can I rub it?
Kyle hooked me up yesterday with the last slipcase cover of Fantastic Four Full Circle.
When I got to Spencer's house today, he was taking the book and easing it in and out of the slipcase very slowly.
It's a very tight fit.
And he was groaning and moaning. It was very uncomfortable.
What the fuck is your deal?
They're limited to a few thousand, and Jetpack has only been selling those for cover price to people who have an open subscription to a book, or they put stuff on their pull list or whatever. Which I do, and also I'm special and all that fun stuff. So Kyle offered it to me at retail price, which was $40. So even if the book's not wonderful, it still looks really cool, and the slipcase is hot.
So you're reviewing it next week, right?
2 weeks maybe.
What a loser.
Yeah, I will.
What a loser.
Loser.
Next week we're talking about Fantastic.
Yeah!
And we're probably doing a commentary that'll be a Patreon exclusive.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll be talking about that next week.
Ooh, nice. Yes, I do definitely think we are going to do a commentary on that. It's going to be horrible and it's going to sound like shit. We're just going to put a microphone near us while we watch it and just hopefully we say some good memes.
Didn't we do that for Justice League?
Yes, we did. That's the only other time we've done it.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out good, but man, it was funny. Yeah, tune in for that next week. And more She-Hulk stuff.
Yes.
Maybe there's more twerking next week.
Daredevil.
We'll find out. We will probably
What if
have
Daredevil twerks?
That's perfectly acceptable.
That's fine. The show did say that it's going to be showing his lighter side. So
Of course it is.
He's probably got a very pale ass.
Very pale. He probably does have a pale ass.
it's none of your business. Be weird. Stop being weird.
Be weird.
Stop being weird.
Be weird, guys.
The
be
thing
weird.
I am very upset about with the twerking scene is the fact that the clapping of the ass cheeks did not shatter the window.
Right! Oh my gosh! That would have been amazing. Ugh.
I'm sorry, but I think that
why
would have
aren't
been
her
fun.
ass cheeks breaking the sound barrier?
It's probably
Okay.
because she's wearing clothes or whatever, but that would be funny. Eat my balls.
Can I deep fry them first?
Mommy, we're milky.
Mommy milky.
Collin, what? Pay attention.
Sorry, mommy milkers.
There are the milkers in the room with us? Are they there right now? Can you point to them?